Galen is not here yet, so we can wait for him.
Hey, Darren, you want to mute your device?
Good morning.
I do, Judge. Sorry.
Thanks. I got a bunch of people. I don't know who they are. All right, I have someone I just admitted. Their phone name is RevoView 855. And I have someone I just admitted on an iPhone. I'm going to ask you to unmute on the iPhone. Hi, what's your name?
Emmanuel Simmons.
Good morning. How are you today?
All right.
I'm going to find you on my docket. All right, and you are Mr. Goldstein's client?
All right.
All right. So I'm going to change your screen name. I'm going to put his initials after it. And then I'm going to pop you in the waiting room. And as soon as he gets here, I'll bring you back in. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. I have another gentleman. You've unmuted. You're on a device that says RevoView 855. What's your name, sir?
Antonio Hodges.
All right. So Mr. Hodges, let me find you. All right. So I'm going to change your screen name. And your attorney is Matthew Murphy, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So I am going to put his initials after your name. And when he gets here, he goes back and forth between two courts. So when he gets here, I will bring you back in, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm gonna put you back in the waiting room. Right, I have somebody just admitted on a Motorola device, and I just sent your request to unmute your device. Good morning. What is your name, please?
Mary Stover.
Mary Stover?
Yes.
All right.
My son has court at 8:30.
Who's your son?
John Stover.
Okay. So, ma'am, you
Yeah.
You can watch on YouTube live. That's why we do that. But you also I don't have him today, ma'am. So what's his first name?
John. He's supposed to be with Judge Olsaver.
Well, I'm a woman, so I'm not Judge Olsaver. So you have the wrong court. But his channel is on YouTube, or you can zoom into his number, but I can't give you his Zoom number. All right.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
You as well.
Rhonda Underwood, who do you
I
have?
have Joseph Ballard and Darius Bailey, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Bailey is not till 8:30, so we have about 10 more minutes for that. And Ballard, you said?
Yes, he's in jail at Bob.
Is it a pickup?
It was a pickup last week, scheduled for today.
She says also.
That was an old saver file. I just did the pickup, Miss Underwood.
I think it's your file, Your Honor.
Did I keep that one? Is that the one I kept?
I think it's your file.
Okay, that wasn't my question. I said I took a plea last week and I kept somebody for sentencing. Was that the one?
No.
Then we'll look it up, but that is
I don't think you kept it.
I kept one of them last week, Miss Underwood, but we're looking it up, Miss Underwood.
Here it is.
Thank you.
No, it's scheduled before Judge Olsaver.
It's a Judge Olsaver file, Ms. Underwood, not mine. I might have done the pickup, but it's not my file.
Okay.
All right, Mr. McKenzie, good morning.
Good morning.
And sir, you're here. Let's see. All right, Mr. Love, we're just waiting. Mr. Murphy goes back and forth, so he'll be here in a minute, all right? I'm gonna mark that you're in person. All right. And you said your other one was Bailey. That's not till 8:30, so I can't do that yet. Fine, Mr. McKenzie. All right, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Casey Michael McKenzie, file number 24-21789FH. Let's see, Mr. McKenzie, I show that the last time, let me see here. Okay. All right, so Mr. McKenzie, previously when we were here, Mr. Daly withdrew his counsel because he was elected to the county commissioner and he wasn't able to continue as your attorney. So I do show that a notice of hearing went to Mr. Castleberry's office for reassignment. And so we're waiting to see who was assigned to represent you, okay? All right, and Ms. Adams, could you please call Mr. Castleberry's office to get that information?
Who do we have, Judge? I'm sorry. I just came.
Casey McKenzie.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Goldstein, whenever you are ready.
I am here, Your Honor. I'm
Good morning.
I'm not awake, but I'm here.
All right, so this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Emmanuel Simmons. We have three files, 24-21830FH, 24-22051FH, and 24-22052FH. I have David Goldstein appearing on behalf of Mr. Simmons. Mr. Simmons has appeared via Zoom, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. I do have a letter dated April 2nd from my pretrial services coordinator, Darren Coast, who states that Mr. Simmons continues to do a good job with his testing. He doesn't miss and is only positive for THC and has a medical marijuana card. So we are set for trial, I believe, because I've got a bunch of information. So let me see. So we are set for, all right. Let's see, when are we set for jury trial? Anybody?
Your Honor, I just got into this case recently, so didn't even know there were trial dates set.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't believe that there is a trial scheduled at this point, Judge.
Okay, you know what, I was looking at this voir dire question, jury instructions and verdict form paperwork that was filed, so that kind of confused me for a minute. All right, so Mr. Goldstein, then if you've just gotten into the file, how do you wish to proceed today?
Your Honor, there are three files. The files that end 5-1 and 5-2, I received a substantial amount of discovery yesterday. That includes the written discovery, and I don't know if they're videos or photographs, but there's some kind of electronic media also. The file that ends in 3-0, I have not received any discovery on. So I'm going to ask the court for maybe 3 weeks so that I can get the rest of the discovery and then review it with my client.
All right, and Mr. Sneed, do you know who the prosecutor is on that file? Can you send a note to whoever that might be?
Yeah, I'm on the 3-0FH, Judge, so I'll note in the file to send that to Mr. Goldstein.
All right, so I have April 23rd at 8:30 in the morning, Mr. Goldstein.
Your Honor, I have a jury trial scheduled to start on Monday in Ingham County. And if it goes, it's going to be all week. So I'm
April
looking,
30th, April
Okay.
30th, I can go one more week.
yeah, that'd be fine, Your Honor.
So we will set these off for pretrial on April 30th at 8:30 in the morning. And Mr. Goldstein, can you do the stip in order to adjourn?
I will do that with Your Honor. Mr. Sneed, can we sign your name?
Yes, please.
Your Honor, since you did mention the testing and that my client, I believe he told me he's been testing for about a year. And since there have been no problems, he's asking if we can cut that down to once rather than multiple times a week.
Mr. Coast, would you like to weigh in on that?
Judge, it looks like he's been testing since September of last year. I'm okay with maybe lowering the frequency to maybe switch colors on them rather than the green, which tests 2 times a week. Maybe we could switch them to teal, which is 1 time a week.
That'd be fine, Your Honor. Thank you.
Any objection, Mr. Sneed?
No, thank you.
All right, so we will do that. Anything else today, Mr. Goldstein?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Simmons, do you need to ask Mr. Coast some questions about that, or can you reach out to him?
No,
Or?
I reached out to him already. We talked about it.
Okay, great. All right. Well,
Hey,
thank you, Mr.
Emmanuel,
Coast.
come see me today. And what I could do is I could get you a new color card and I'd give you directions for the 1 time a week drug testing.
Okay. What time would you think?
Are you able to come see me before noon today?
Yeah, I could.
Yep, just pop up to the 3rd floor, go across to the clerk's office and tell them you're there to see me.
Okay, 3rd floor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Simmons. Thank you, Mr. Goldstein.
Thank you,
All
Your
right.
Honor.
All right, Goldstein.
Bye-bye.
I'll see you.
All right. You're all set, Mr. Simmons. You can disconnect. I know I have Mr. McKenzie, but I have another individual with MDOC. And sir, what is your name?
It's Bomarito.
All right. So Mr. Delshawn.
Yes.
All right. So in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Delshawn Bomarito, file number 25-22196. FH. Mr. Bomarito, I apologize, a writ went out. Your attorney had you sign a waiver of arraignment, which had the court then enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf, and it'll be set for another pretrial, and we will send a notice out for that. All right, Mr. Bomarito?
Okay.
All right, thank you. You have a good day.
Wait. Will I be in there in person?
For pretrials, they'll Zoom you, but yes, you get to come in person for sentencing or trial, yes.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Right.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Murphy, now I'm a little traumatized by your message. Okay. Okay, let's see, because that takes care of that. I got so many. All right, I got Mr. Okay, Mr. Murphy. Got Mr. Malaro. And you're Mr. Murphy, right, Mr. Love?
Yeah.
Why don't you come on up and get you out of here? This storm's kind of crazy out there. All right, Mr. Murphy, where you at? Okay, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Bruce Anthony Love, file number 24-218A5FH. I have Matthew Murphy appearing on behalf of Mr. Love, and I have Daniel Gumto appearing on behalf of the Illinois County Prosecutor's Office. We are scheduled for a bench trial on April 11. So, Mr. Murphy, how do you wish to proceed today?
So, Your Honor, I have a medical issue going on, and I tried to discuss this with Mr. Love to see what options he wanted to do yesterday, but I don't think we came. I got a definitive answer as to what he wanted to do. Well, I can zoom in. Appearing in person is not something I can do for the bench trial. So, I had again, I talked to Mr. Love. You know, I could try to have somebody cover, but I'm pretty sure he didn't want that to happen. I said that I could try to zoom in for the bench trial, or we could try to adjourn it.
So Mr. Murphy, can I ask how long will it be before you're able to come in?
Well, that's unknown right now. I have an appointment on the 14th to get more understanding.
Okay.
I guess that's the best I can say
So
right now.
Mr. Love, based on this, through no fault of anybody's, there might be some lengthy adjournments. And Mr. Murphy, you know, you have a couple options. You can proceed with Mr. Murphy, it sounds like, or the case could be reassigned to another public defender. So what would you like to do?
I would like to get it done because
I can't hear you.
Yes, stand up.
That's what I was telling Mr. Murphy. I've been coming to court for this for almost a year now. And Robinson been sweating me the whole time. I didn't do anything.
Okay, I don't want you to say any more. So Mr. Murphy, because we're getting into the merits of the case and I don't want you to say anything. So Mr. Love, and because you have a deep voice, your tenor is very deep, we don't pick you up on the microphone, so I'm sorry. So Mr. Murphy, it looks like Mr. Love would probably like a reassignment so that he can get a trial date. So I don't know what you need to do that within your office.
Well, I can see if someone's willing to cover for the bench trial on the 11th. Again,
Okay.
I would try to figure that out before. I just wasn't sure what Mr. Love wanted to do. So.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I am going to set this for Ms. Adams. Do I have anything on Friday for 10-minute pretrial? Or Monday or Tuesday? I'm assuming, Mr. Gumto, the people are ready to proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. That's correct.
We could do a 4:10 on Monday, April 7th.
Okay, so Mr. Murphy, what I can do is set this over to Monday at 4:10, and you have Mr. Murphy or Mr. Love's contact information, so you could do that within your office, and we come back Monday and determine whether the trial is going to be that Friday, or if the new attorney might need a couple days or a week to prepare. Obviously, we could adjourn it out a week or two. So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right now, obviously, you know, we're not sure who would cover it. You know, obviously, Mr. Love understands that he hasn't
right,
get to
that's
pick the
what I
attorney
said.
who would be
So,
available for it. So.
all right, I will set this over to April 7 at 4:10. Ms. Adams, could I get a notice of hearing from Mr. Love? So April 7 at 4:10, and Mr. Gumto, is this your file?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. And that works for the
All right.
people. Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Love, you can just stay right there. We'll get you a notice of,
But Mr. Murphy needs to
we can't hear you. You
I
have
said
to go.
Mr. Murphy need to give me a call so I can know what's going on because this
We're-
case should have been.
All right, so Mr. Love, Mr. Murphy's office will give you a call.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
All right,
Right now.
okay. So, all right. So Mr. Love, just stay right there and we'll get you a notice of hearing. All right, let's see.
How you doing?
All right, okay. Let's see, Mr. Murphy, Mr. Love, we're on the record. You can't talk in the courtroom. Well, I'm on the
Oh,
record. This is my courtroom and we're on the record. So when you're talking, it interferes with the recording. Thank you. All right. So Mr. Murphy, who else do you have? You have Barton, Blake Barton.
Yeah, I think you set that for Thursday, Your Honor, for a plea hearing to alleviate your docket this morning.
Okay, so he's set for Thursday at what time?
I think it was 11 or 11:30.
Okay, so in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Blake Barton, file number 23-1 21272FH. I have Matthew Murphy appearing on behalf of Mr. Barton, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people, and evidently this has been adjourned to April 3rd at what time, Mr. Murphy?
11:30 for a plea hearing.
All right, okay. Miss Walsh, you might have missed, I'm sorry, Mr. Love's going to be reassigned another attorney, so I set Bruce Love over to this coming Monday, April 7th at 4:10, all right? Okay, so.
Your Honor, may I interrupt? May I have that date on People v. Barton again?
April 3rd at 11:30.
Thank you.
Mr. Murphy, I have Mr. Hodges. Right, Mr. Hodges has got to connect to audio. All right.
Hello?
Hi, Mr. Hodges, hold on. All right, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Antonio Demetrius Hodges, file number 25-22119FH. I have Matthew Murphy appearing on behalf of Mr. Hodges, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. Mr. Murphy, how would you like to proceed today with Mr. Hodges?
Your Honor, could I have a breakout, Mr. Hodges, please?
So I will tell you, Mr. Murphy, I have a trial starting at 10:30. You get like 2 minutes, but I'm not really doing breakout rooms today because I just really will not have the time. So
Okay.
I will give you just a couple minutes, but like I said, we're not doing a lot of breakout rooms today. My jury trial needs to start.
Well, Your Honor, I guess we could just adjourn, I think, then.
If you can talk to him in a couple minutes, that's fine. I'm just saying, where's he at? Mr. Hodges and Mr. Murphy. So Anthony Hodges and Mr. Murphy. Okay, go ahead and talk to him real quick. All right, why do I have Wesley jail? Okay. One of you have a case today, right?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Zach.
Come on up to the podium. Mr. Glazier, I have Mr. Davis here, and Miss Adams, if you could chat me if we have an update on Mr. McKenzie.
Judge, I gave you that form on, it's Mr. Fry.
Oh, okay, is he showing, is it coming today?
I will check.
Okay. Okay, this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Zachary Allen Davis. We have two files, 24-22014FH and 24-22015FH. I have John Glazier appearing on behalf of Mr. Davis. I have Dave McCready appearing on behalf of the people. This is the date and time set for a pretrial. Mr. Coast has provided an update. States Mr. Davis is back doing well with his treatment for domestic violence with Sally at Recovery Road. His attendance, attitude, personal financial responsibility, and participation have been excellent for the last couple months. So, Mr. Glazier, how do you wish to proceed today on behalf of Mr. Davis?
I need to speak with Mr. McCready first, Your Honor.
I don't have time for you to speak with Mr. McCready. It's expected that you'll do that before we come to court. So I can adjourn this. I need, unless it'll just be a minute. We send a memo out. We don't really have time to do breakout rooms. It's expected people would do it in advance. If it will only be a couple minutes, Mr. Glazier, that's fine. But if it'll be more than that, I'll have to adjourn it.
A couple minutes.
Okay. So Mr. Glazier and Mr. McCready. This one. Go ahead and join that breakout room. You just have a seat right there. All right, Mr. Hodges and Mr. Murphy. So, Mr. Murphy, how do you wish to proceed on behalf of Mr. Hodges?
Your Honor, I think we're gonna have to ask for another pretrial unless the people today are willing to offer an attempted resisting obstructing.
May 7 at 8:30 in the morning. Would that work for you, Mr. Murphy?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Hodges, I'm going to set this over to May 7 at 8:30 in the morning. So write that down, May 7 at 8:30. It'll be the same Zoom number. And then we will see you back on that day. If an arrangement is worked out, obviously Mr. Murphy Cohen will get him in on another day than a Wednesday, all right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
All right,
Mr. Hodges, I'll
thank
be
you,
in touch
Mr.
with you, okay? All
Yes, sir.
right, thanks.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hodges. You're all set.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Miss Adams, do we, let me see, Michelle Harding. Miss Adams, do we know who's assigned to represent Michelle Harding? It is a conflict attorney.
I'll see if I can find out.
All right, she is in the waiting room. Jill, Mr. Orozco.
The call cannot be
Oh, shit.
Illinois County Jail, Deputy Recorder speaking.
Hi, this is Judge Anselone. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I am ready for both Joel Orozco and Cody Kusno.
Kusno and Orozco, okay.
Thank you.
Yep, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Judge Harding is also Mr. Fry.
Okay. Mr. Bennett, Mr. Shoemate, he's in jail too, isn't he?
Mr. Shoemate is in the MDOC. My understanding he was gonna be written for a Zoom today.
Well, he might have been written, but they didn't bring him. Let's see. I don't show anybody from MDOC, so we can give it a couple minutes to see if they zoom in.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, we are back with Mr. Glazier and Mr. McCready on Zachary Davis. So, Mr. Glazier, how do you wish to proceed on behalf of Mr. Davis?
Your Honor, I guess we need to set this matter for trial.
All right, so let me get scheduling order. Miss Adams, I don't know if you want to bring me the book or if you, how many days do you need for a jury trial, Mr. Glazier?
I would assume 2, maybe 2.5.
I agree with that.
Right, so I will put it for 3 because we do count jury deliberations. So, and Miss Adams, get back to her desk. And Miss Adams, I'll need a notice of hearing from Mr. Davis. All right. So I, no. Right, so your client is not in custody, so obviously, so I can do June 24, starting at 9 a.m.
That'd be fine, Your Honor.
Right, and that'll be,
Yeah, that's fine.
that'll be for 3 days. So if we have. I'm gonna set a final pretrial for June 18. And I will make that the motion and limine deadline. And I'm going to require that exhibits must be marked and submitted to the court by June 18. I'll put the date in here, but remember that jury instructions, voir dire questions must be submitted 14 days before the trial. So that will be June 3rd. Oh, okay. So I'll put a note there for you guys. Anything else we need?
Just to clarify, there's two files here. Are we talking about the 14 FH or the 15 FH? And
It would be the 14 unless the parties wish to do a different one.
I
We go by
prefer
the
to do-
oldest.
Yeah, they were charged at the same time, but the facts are older in that case. But I prefer to do the other one first if counsel has no objection.
Mr. Glazier?
I would prefer to do the oldest one first, I guess. Is that what you're saying, Mr. McCready?
No, I'm talking
You're
about
talking date of offense or filing?
Date of offense.
That
Well,
would be the 15th.
no. I think the 14 has the older date of offense. I'm looking to do the 2015 FH first.
Mr. Glazier?
I'd prefer to do it the other way around, I guess.
If they can't agree, I go by the oldest file number.
Understand. Yep.
So we will do 24-22014 FH. And then the other one will be set for pretrial as well. So I will put that file number in here. I did that schedule order. Sorry, Miss Ann. I'm gonna need more of these criminal ones. That's my last one. Files. All right, so I've prepared a scheduling order. We will get a copy of that to both attorneys. And yes, sir.
Don said something. I've
Who?
had the tether guy.
Okay.
He said I've had this thing on for like 8 months. Is it? He told me squeaky wheel doesn't get greased. I should ask or bring it up.
So you're asking for your tether to be removed?
I mean, he said he thinks.
Yes or no?
Been long, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Glazier, he is requesting that his tether be removed.
Yeah, Your Honor, I'm not sure the reason for the tether, except that maybe he wasn't supposed to have contact in the past. I believe that
It's
he.
GPS, right?
No, it's alcohol.
It's an alcohol tether because of the use of alcohol.
Yeah, I'd leave it to the court's discretion. I assume my client's not been drinking. He, he seems.
Mr.
pretty
Coast, would
with
you
it.
like to weigh in?
Judge, you did have, one confirmed alcohol consumption that was way back in, November 21st to be exact, but, I've had zero, violations since that positive.
Mr. McCready?
Yeah, we're very much opposed to that. Both of these incidents are alcohol related. The information that I have garnered from the mental health people that I've interacted with indicate that that's the genesis of a lot of these problems. So I think it definitely needs to remain on.
Okay, so Mr. Glazier, you can file a motion if you'd like, but at this time, I'm not going to grant a request to remove the tether. All right, and Mr. Davis has a notice, so make sure you stay in contact to prepare for trial. All right, thank you.
Mr. Davis,
All
you
right.
can see me within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
All right.
Okay. Mr. Bennett. So Mr. Bennett, I do not have MDOC for you. And that happens. So I apologize, but we can reschedule this and do another writ.
Your Honor, obviously, we're gonna have to do that. I think you're gonna want Ms. Wise here because we're set for trial in 2 weeks from today.
I'm gonna set it over to next week and see if we can get him here. Have you met with them and are you prepared for trial?
I have not met with him. I have not been able to get there.
Okay. Will you be prepared for trial?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Adams, is there a day next week where I could set this for a pretrial? Probably not on Wednesday because I've got over 20 on next Wednesday.
I left the book with you, Judge. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did. Okay. Let me see. So, today's the 1st. So, do you know where he's housed, Mr. Bennett?
I believe he's still in quarantine at Egler.
Okay. Yeah, they didn't zoom him in. So we can do. We need enough time. So why don't we try to do April 10 at 2 o'clock? Are you available?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
All right, so, yeah. So we'll set this over April 10 at 2 p.m. and Ms. Weiss, the people will prepare the writ. And Zoom's fine, Mr. Bennett, right?
Zoom is fine with me. I think the courtroom currently permits it. But I obviously, I don't know if Mr. Shoemate wants me to represent him. I don't know if he would insist on being there in person, but I would prefer Zoom.
Well, okay, so it'll be Zoom. Ms. Weiss, can you do the, your office will prepare the writ, correct?
Yes, I just sent her a message asking her to please get one done.
Okay, thank you. All right,
Thank
so, well, Ms. Adams, can we do the notice of hearing for that, please?
Yes, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. Bennett.
Your Honor, have a good day.
You too, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. McKenzie, oh, Brian just was sitting here. He just walked out, so Brian Fry. So he'll be, I'm sure, right back. So just bear with us, Mr. McKenzie, you'll be next. All right, I have, are one of you a defendant? Okay, what's your name?
Did you ask me something? I thought you asked me something.
No.
Thank you, Judge.
It's Mr. Fry too, okay.
Oh, we haven't got checked out, say.
Oh, it's fine. All right, so, right, Mr. Malaro, Chad Stewart, were you currently representing him?
Your Honor, it says that I have a show cause with him, but I don't see any paperwork
All right.
for it.
So in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Chad London Stewart, file number 25-22167FH, I have Salvatore Malaro appearing on behalf of Mr. Stewart. This is a violation of probation pretrial. Mr. Coast did provide a letter to me stating that he's doing his testings as of last week, and they've been completely negative. Mr. Coast, is he tested this week?
Judge, the last one I have is March 24th. I could look real quick. Give me 1 second here.
Because he's not here, so it's usually unusual if they're doing well, if they don't show up.
Yeah, give me 1 second here.
All right. And then Mr. Malaro, that was all you had, right, Mr. Malaro?
I think so.
I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
I think so.
Okay. So, Mr. Kusno. Okay. In the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Cody Kusno, file number 25-22198FH. I have John Glazier appearing on behalf of Mr. Kusno, and I have, I need a prosecutor. Who's my prosecutor on Kusno? I've got a lot of prosecutors in my room, but nobody's got their video on. So Mr. Steen, Mr. McCready, Mr. Gumto, would anybody like to be the prosecutor on this one?
I can appear, Your Honor. Dan Gumto for the people.
You're the winner, Mr. Gumto. So, Mr. Glazier, how would you like to proceed today on behalf of Mr. Kusno? You're muted, Mr. Glazier.
I need to speak with Mr. Kusno.
All right, so I'll give you a couple minutes. All right, so I have somebody in the Wesley jail. It's a young woman. What is your name?
Jamie Heimerdinger.
Okay. All right, so grab your file. This is in the matter of the, oh, I'm sorry, we'll pause real quick. Mr. Coast, did you have an update on Chad Stewart?
I do, Judge. It shows the last entry was on 3/24. I did send the center a message because he is supposed to be testing 2 times a week, so he should have tested after the 24th. But right now, that shows his last entry.
So how would you like me to proceed then? You want me to adjourn it 2 weeks, or do you want me to issue a warrant?
Judge, he didn't show today.
Okay. So, Mr.
If you don't mind, let's set it out 1 week just because I have the 3 negatives. I want to see if he tested since the 24th.
Is that all right with you, Mr. Malaro?
Yeah, yeah, Judge. I see it as a show cause, but I don't have paperwork. So does he have notice to be here today?
He would have on the record. Yeah, I think so. We'll send out a notice though. We'll send out a notice. We'll set it over to, I don't think I can do next week. Let's set it over to April 16th at 8:30. And Ms. Adams will mail the notice out. All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks, Mr. Malaro. All right, Mr. Glazier, Mr. Kusno, how would you like to proceed?
I don't know who's the prosecutor on this, Your Honor.
Anybody know?
I believe.
That's my case, Judge.
Okay.
Could I talk to Isaac a second, Your Honor?
Mr. Sneed, are you on Heimerdinger?
No,
you're
I'm not, Your Honor.
Okay. Delete it. All right, Mr. Sneed and Mr. Glazier. Hold on. All right. All right. So, all right. In the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Jamie Heimerdinger, file number 21-20407. So it looks like we are doing an arraignment on a request and warrant for probation violation. So Ms. Heimerdinger, this is a request and warrant for probation violation that alleges that you failed to report on June 22nd of 2022 and June 29th of 2022 for your routine report date. And we haven't heard from you since then. Somehow we found you. I don't know if you contacted us or we contacted you. But so ma'am, do you understand if you plead guilty or found guilty of this violation of probation, you could be facing up to, I believe it's 4 years. Yep, 4 years in prison. Do you understand that?
Yes.
So where is Wesley Jail?
I'm in Jackson County right now.
Okay, okay. Are you under sentence or
Yes.
have a case?
Right. For the probation violation, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing.
Okay, so ma'am, you do have the right to have an attorney represent you at this and all subsequent hearings. If you can't afford to hire one, we can appoint you one at public expense. Would you like an attorney appointed to represent you?
Yes.
All right, because I have you, I'm not gonna let you go this morning. So we're gonna see if we can get Miss Underwood over to speak with you this morning when she's done with her docket. So do you mind hanging out for a minute?
I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, yeah, okay. So I'm going to see if we can get someone to speak with you this morning. All right, Mr. Glazier, with regard to Mr. Kusno, how would you like to proceed?
Your Honor, he is going to plead to the new file here. This is the situation. He has 2 other files that he's pled to and he's set for sentencing, I think on April 11th. And I think the recommendation is for him to go into drug court. So Mr. Sneed said we could, if we entered a plea on this, there would be a killabrew that it would run concurrent with his other file and not exceed any sentence he received in the other file.
So do you, because it's arraignment, let's start back with, do you waive the reading of the felony information?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you received a copy of the prosecutor's request for discovery and witness list?
Yes, Your Honor.
So Mr. Sneed, the plea is that he'll plead guilty to count 1. And then the habitual offender, like what happens with the habitual offender notice?
We agreed to dismiss the habitual offender notice, Judge.
Okay, and then the killabrew is that it would be what?
Any sentence would be concurrent to the cases in which he's being sentenced on April 11th
and
not to exceed them.
So Ms. Walsh, he has 2 files that he's being sentenced on April 11th, which is, what's today, the 2nd, so 9 days from now. The pre-sentence is recent. Do you think that they'd be able to put it all together?
Oh, no, we still need time to do this one, if that's what you're at. Is that what you're asking?
Okay, yeah, because I didn't know.
Was he in drug court before?
Yeah.
I think he
So
might.
I don't think he would be eligible for drug court again then.
Oh, no, you can do drug court.
I got the PSI and I think drug court is recommended.
Yeah, Ms. Walsh, you can do drug court more than 1 time. I mean, we try until it sticks, right? So, all right. Okay, so we'll set another sentencing date, Mr. Kusno, but if recovery court has some direction when we come back on the 11th, we can finagle that around, all right?
Okay.
All right, so Mr. Kusno, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, can you state your full name for the record, please?
Cody Ryan Kusno.
All Right, so Mr. Kusno, you've heard the statement of your attorney and the prosecuting attorney. Is it your intention to plead guilty to count one, possession of fentanyl, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 2 years in prison and or a $2,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand the agreement is that the habitual offender fourth offense notice will be dismissed and your sentence will run with your other sentencing that you're going to receive on the 11th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Glazier as your attorney and the advice that he's given you?
I am, Your Honor.
All right, neither the prosecutor, the defendant, or anyone on the defendant's behalf has discussed any other possible sentence with the court. Is that correct, Mr. Glazier?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Sneed?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Kusno, as far as you're aware?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. If a guilty plea is accepted, there will be no trial. This means that you'll be giving up rights you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You have a right to a speedy public trial by jury. You may ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and court agree, you can have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial and have witnesses against you appear at your trial to ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses you have for your defense to appear at the trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial, not to have your silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you want to testify. Do you understand that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at trial? Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to the plea will be by application for leave to appeal and not by right? Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a conviction of a crime may result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you have any questions about the rights that I've given to you?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Kusno, how do you plead to the charge that on February 8th of 2025 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee, that you did commit the offense, controlled substance possession of fentanyl? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Okay, and you said guilty, right?
Yes.
Okay. Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead guilty to this charge?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if I accept this plea, you will be giving up any and all claims that your plea is given as a result of promises or threats that were not disclosed to the court on the record during the hearing, or that it was not your own choice to enter the plea? Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises or threats or inducements other than the plea bargain to induce the defendant to plead guilty? Mr. Glazier?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Sneed?
No, Your Honor.
All right, other than what was placed on the record, Mr. Kusno, has your attorney promised you any particular sentence or estimated what your sentence will be outside of that plea bargain?
No, Your Honor.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Kusno, on February 8th of 2025, were you in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you have in your possession fentanyl?
I did, Your Honor.
Did you have any legal right to possess that?
No, Your Honor.
And you knew that it was fentanyl?
No, I did not.
What did you think it was?
I was told that it was methamphetamine.
Okay, and in fact, when they tested it, it turned out to be fentanyl.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're kind of lucky to be alive today, right?
I absolutely agree, yes.
Are you satisfied, Mr. Sneed?
I am, thank you.
Accept the plea, or has the court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D? Mr. Glazier?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Sneed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, accept the plea. It has been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. The defendant has full knowledge of his rights. He does have competent counsel. This court has made no agreement regarding the possibility of a plea or possible sentence in the case with the prosecutor, the defense attorney, the defendant, or anyone acting in the interest of either of them. I'm going to refer this matter to the probation department for a pre-sentence investigation. So yes, I do understand you're supposed to be sentenced on your other files April 11th, but I'm going to set this one to May 16th. If we're lucky, maybe Mr. Moore will finish it up or whoever's doing it, but if not, we'll set it for May 16th, but the agreement does follow. So if you're not in custody, then do you want to come in person for sentencing or via Zoom?
Person, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll mark that. All right, when you meet with the probation department, obviously be truthful with them, which I think you've already been assessed, but about your background, the events that occurred, they'll prepare or update the pre-sentence report. Mr. Glazier will review that with you before the date of sentencing. And I'll see you back April 11th, but this one potentially on May 16th, all right?
Okay, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kusno.
Do
Ms.
you have
Walsh?
the docket numbers or the dockets that that's supposed to be concurrent with? Or does
Say
Mr.
that, you
Glazier,
kind of broke up. I couldn't hear you.
does Mr. Glazier or someone have the docket numbers that this is supposed to be concurrent with?
No, no, it's the two that are set for sentencing April 11th. Who came to interview you for your PSI, Mr. Kusno?
Miss Holly.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Orozco, so let me get your file. In the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Joel Jesus Orozco, file number 25-22129FH and 25-22130FH. Mr. Glazier represents Mr. Orozco, and I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people. So, Mr. Glazier, how do you wish to proceed on behalf of Mr. Orozco? You're muted, Mr. Glazier.
I just got a note on Mr. Orozco, and I apologize, but I need to speak with Mr. Sneed about it. I just got the note.
Yep, you what?
I just got this note yesterday.
Okay. You guys remember, you can always chat, text, or call each other while we're waiting. Mr. Sneed, I'll give you a quick breakout room with Mr. Glazier. You don't have to wait for me. All right, so Mr. Orozco, bear with us. I had Brian Fry, but Brian Fry is probably in a trial, so he bopped back down and he will be back up in just a minute. So bear with us, Mr. McKenzie and you, sir. So, just a moment, show.
This is my favorite TV show.
Thank you. You know, it's never a dull moment. Mr. Fry is Michelle Harding. I lost Matt Murphy. Mr. Murphy, I have Justin Wyrick.
John, I just need 1 minute to talk with him, or we could proceed on the record, I guess, and ask him on the record.
All right,
if he wants
I'm gonna
to.
assign you and Mr. Wyrick to a breakout room. Mr. Wyrick, unmute your device. I find Mr. Murphy and Mr. Wyrick. All right, go ahead and join that room. I'm gonna send a message to Ms. Underwood that I have Mr. Bailey. Is Ms. Foley here in person?
No, I just texted, checking to see if there was a red board.
Mr. Fry, thank you. I'm sorry. So, Mr. Fry, I have Mr. McKenzie. So why don't we take care of him first? He's been very patient with me this morning. And I know you were recently assigned to him. So in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Casey Michael McKenzie, file number 24-21789FH. I have Dave McCready appearing on behalf of the people, and I have Brian Fry, who's been conflict appointed to represent Mr. McKenzie. So Mr. Fry, I know that this is a recent appointment, last week it looks like. So Mr. McKenzie, where are you currently staying?
I'm at JCS. I'm at 3100 Cooper Street.
Okay, so you're in Jackson, so that's close, good. So Mr. Fry, how would you like to proceed today?
Your Honor, I would ask for an adjournment. As the court had stated, I recently got assigned to this case. I have not had a chance to meet with Mr. McKenzie yet, so would like time to be able to do that.
Okay, so I have April 30th, just a few weeks away, available at 8:30 in the morning.
That'll work, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. McKenzie, I show my paperwork. Mr. Fry was just recently appointed, so he's gonna need an opportunity to meet with you. So I'm gonna set this over to April 30th at 8:30 in the morning. Mr. Fry will either visit you or Zoom in with you to discuss the case. And then when we come back on April 30th, we will figure out how to proceed. Mr. Fry, if you have any issues getting in to see him or Zooming with him, I can always schedule that he be brought in person for you to meet with him.
Okay, Your Honor, I will.
Okay.
But I should be able to meet with him.
Okay, Jackson's usually pretty good. So Mr. McKenzie, we will see you back on that day, okay?
So I'm not coming in person for sure on the 30th though, correct?
No.
Okay.
I just
all right,
meant if
that's good.
Mr. Fry is having difficulty getting to meet with you, I would arrange for you to be brought in person to meet with him.
No, that's fine. All right, thank you.
Great, thank you, Mr. McKenzie. You have a good day.
You too.
Great. Let me take care. Are you in trial on the second floor or something?
No, I was in district court, but just finished up.
Okay, I want to wait because I have to go off live stream for that one. I think so.
No, you won't necessarily need to, Your Honor.
Okay, say it again.
I don't think you'll need to, Your Honor.
Oh.
But not today.
Wait, but is he in my house? Oh, okay. I'll call it then. I think. Oh, it's like a baby. All right. What's his name?
Finley.
Okay. Okay, why don't you step up to the podium, Mr. Finley? So this is in the matter, hold on, I'm gonna get Rhonda in here to talk to Ms. Heimerdinger real quick. Ms. Underwood, I just called another case, but I have Jamie Heimerdinger from Jackson County Jail as a pickup. Would you mind talking to her real quick? I believe Ms. Adams would have sent you the paperwork.
Okay.
All right, I know I got her here, so I don't want to lose her or have to bring her back. So,
Thank you.
all right, so let me add some rooms. Delete some rooms. And her name is Jamie Heimerdinger, so. All right, I'm gonna open up that room. All right, this is, go stand right next to your attorney, please. This is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Noah Michael Finley, file number 24-21954FH. I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people, and I have Brian Fry appearing on behalf of Mr. Finley. This is the date and time set for, this is like our third, maybe fourth pretrial. So Mr. Fry, how do you want to proceed today?
Yes, Your Honor. Last time we were here, we were in the process of getting an assessment as a part of our defense in this case, and that hasn't happened yet. It took him a while to be able to get in. He has an appointment on April 8th, so that's happening soon. So if we could get another adjournment, that's what we'd be asking for.
So I have April 30th or May 7th at 8:30 in the morning, and Ms. Adams will need a notice of hearing.
May 7th, Your Honor.
All right, so I will set this over to May 7th at 8:30 in the morning for a pretrial. And Miss Adams, if I could get a notice of hearing for Mr. Finley, we'll prepare that notice. All right, Mr. Fry?
Thank you.
All right, you can go have a seat with your family and we'll get that notice for you. All right. So, that one. Now, are you ready on Mr. Orozco, Mr. Glazier?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus, I don't know who that is. Hold on. Joel Orozco. So, Mr. Glazier, how do you wish to proceed with Mr. Orozco?
We need to adjourn that 2 or 3 weeks, Your Honor.
All right. So my next available is April 23rd. Is that all right, Mr. Glazier?
That's fine, Your Honor. I think, is that all right, Isaac?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
All right, so April 23rd at 8:30 in the morning, and Mr. Glazier, you'll do the step in order to adjourn, and Mr. Fry, can you sign your name with, or Mr. Sneed, can you sign your name with permission?
Yes, thank you.
All right, so Mr. Rasco, I will see you back on that day, all right?
Can I talk to my attorney real fast?
Are you done with me, Mr. Glazier? Do you have any other cases?
I think I have some other cases, but I can talk to him real quick.
Hold on a second. Let me double check. Michael Dagger Margosian. I have one with him. And you have one more. Let me call that one, and then I give you a breakout room with Mr. Rasco because the MDOC did not transport her. In the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Shannon Marie Foley, file number 25-22138FH. I have John Glazier appearing on behalf of Shannon Marie Foley, and I have Dave McCready appearing on behalf of the people. I have that we ordered at the last hearing that MDOC present her in person. She's not here, so Mr. Glazier, I can adjourn that.
Yeah, I think that's everything we can do.
All right, I will set that out to April 30th, and Mr. McCready, can you make sure Rick gets done again for that day?
Well, so I do have a note here that said MDOC was not able to accommodate the in-person writ, but is there a chance that she's on Zoom?
No, she's not on Zoom.
Okay, because I think that's what my note said, but yes, I'll get her in person on the 30th.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
In the alternative, Mr. Glazier, if MDOC decides they can't accommodate our wishes, would it be all right if she appeared via Zoom at least?
Your Honor,
So-
you're asking me to waive something I can't waive without her being
No,
here.
so what I would say, Mr. McCready, if they email you next time and say they can't accommodate our request, which they're required to do, we present her on Zoom that day and she can make her objection on that as well, all right?
Yep, we'll do.
Okay, so Mr. Glazier, you can do the step in order to adjourn April 30th at 8:30 a.m. And Mr. McCready, can you sign your name with permission?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so that takes care of that. Mr. Glazier, I'm gonna put you in a breakout room with Mr. Orozco.
Thank you.
Back Ms. Heimer, nope, not a problem. Then Mr. Orozco, when you're all done, you can just scoot. All right. All right, so Mr. Orozco's in jail Zoom 1. Mr. Glazier. Okay, go ahead and join that breakout room. Okay, so we are back with Ms. Heimerdinger. So Ms. Underwood, how would you like to proceed on her behalf?
I apologize, Your Honor. I just got the email. So let me go back in the breakout with Ms. Heimerdinger.
All right, so Ms. Underwood, there you go. Go back, Ms. Heimerdinger. All right. Mr. Orozco, you're good. I think you joined that breakout room. Did you get a breakout room? There he goes. Okay, I don't know what that one is, but I think I'm done with him. You can set up at council table, Mr. Brooks, if you want for a trial.
Yeah, no, I think
There's
Mr.
nobody else.
Wyrick didn't know how to leave the breakout room if he's not out by now.
He just merged, yeah, he just logged back in. And you have Michelle Harding, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Wyrick, let me grab your paperwork. Okay. In the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Justin Christopher Wyrick. So, Mr. Murphy, how do you wish to proceed on behalf of Mr. Wyrick?
Your Honor, Mr. Wyrick is going to accept the plea from the people. We tried to send over to the court a signed copy of that plea agreement. It is for him to plead to, it'll be a count 3. I'm going to add a count 3 of larceny, 200 to 1,000. We would have to take the elements of the greater to satisfy the lesser. But again, we are going to plead to that today, Your Honor.
All right.
That would involve dismissal of the 2 felonies, the counts 1 and 2 on the information.
Mr. Murphy, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Wyrick.
There was a question about the misdemeanor trespass. Was that going to be wrapped up today as well, or no?
Is that down in district court, going on down district?
Yes.
That's not included in this plea offer, so I'll talk with the prosecutor and see what they want to do with that, and I'll get back.
All right.
Mr. Sneed, do you want to weigh in on that? Is that a county case or a local?
It is a case our office is prosecuting, but there's 2 other prosecutors involved here, so if they can sort it out between them, I'm sure it'll get resolved.
Yeah, with all honesty, Your Honor, the discussions didn't involve that case, so that's.
Did it? Okay, so Mr. Wyrick, do you understand that this case doesn't involve that trespassing?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Do you still wish to proceed with the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you state your full name for the record?
Justin Christopher Wyrick.
All right, so Mr. Wyrick, you have heard the statement of your attorney and the prosecuting attorney. Looks like there's going to be an amended information adding a count 3, which is larceny 200 to 1,000, which carries a maximum penalty of, that's 1 year, up to 1 year in jail. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and count 1 and count 2, which are felonies, would be dismissed at the time of sentencing, but it does not involve the misdemeanor trespassing case that's currently still pending in district court. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Murphy as your attorney and the advice that he has given you?
Yes, ma'am.
Neither the prosecutor, the defendant, or anyone on the defendant's behalf has discussed a possible sentence with the court. Is that correct, Mr. Sneed?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Is that correct, Mr. Murphy?
Yes, Your Honor.
If a guilty plea is accepted, or is that correct as well, Mr. Wyrick, as far as you're aware?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If a guilty plea is accepted, there will be no trial. This means that you will be giving up rights you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You have a right to a speedy public trial by jury. You may ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and court agree, you can have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial and have witnesses against you appear at trial and to ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses you have for your defense to appear at the trial. You have the right to remain silent during your trial, not to have your silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you want to testify. Do you understand that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at trial? Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that any appeal from the conviction and sentence pursuant to the plea will be by application for leave to appeal and not by right? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a conviction of a crime may result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you have any questions about the rights that I've given to you, Mr. Wyrick?
No, ma'am.
All right, so Mr. Wyrick, how do you plead to the charge that on February 3rd of 2024 in Woodstock Township in the county of Lenawee that you did commit the offense of, what was it again?
Larceny, 200 to 1,000.
Is that from a person?
No, it's, well. No, it's
I don't have the
1,000.
statute, so I'm just asking for the language on the statute. Is that larceny 200 to 1,000? That's it?
Yes.
Okay, so how do you plead to the charge that you committed the offense of larceny, 200 to 1,000? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
All right. Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead guilty to this charge?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that if I accept this plea, you will be giving up any and all claims that your plea is given as a result of promises or threats that were not disclosed to the court on the record during this hearing, or that it was not your own choice to enter the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises or threats or inducements other than the plea bargain to induce the defendant to plead guilty? Mr. Sneed?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Murphy?
No, Your Honor.
Has your attorney promised you, Mr. Wyrick, any sentence or estimated what your sentence will be?
No, ma'am.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Wyrick, for purposes of the plea, I'm going to establish a factual basis by one of the counts that's being dismissed. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Mr. Wyrick, on February 3rd of 2024, we're in Woodstock Township in the county of Lenawee.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. I'm sorry. And did you have someone's Chime debit card?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you got that from another person, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then did you use that card?
No, ma'am.
All right, so, but it didn't belong to you and you did possess it, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and, Mr. Sneed?
Your Honor, if I could have just 1 second here.
I know he's charged with possession in count 1 and illegal sale or use. Did you sell it to somebody or give it to somebody else?
Your Honor, if I may, I would think that the elements of possession have been met. He possessed the card, and he didn't try to use it. It was discovered that he possessed it before any attempt to use it actually occurred, is what I could understand ultimately. I mean, whether or not he was going to use it was quite, but that's, again, I think possession's been met though.
So, Mr. Wyrick, you intended to use it, but you hadn't yet used it. Is that correct?
So I personally did not intend to use it, but I did possess it. Somebody else
But
was
you
going to
didn't-
use it.
But you didn't have, okay, so someone else was gonna use it
Yes, ma'am.
and you had no legal right to possess that card.
Correct.
And then that person that was gonna use it, your intention then was to defraud the owner of the card.
Yes, ma'am.
People are satisfied. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Has the court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D? Mr. Pratt, or Mr. Sneed,
Yes, Your Honor.
and Mr. Murphy?
Yes, Your Honor.
Accept the plea. It has been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. The defendant has full knowledge of his rights. He does have competent counsel. This court has made no agreement regarding the possibility of a plea or possible sentence in this case with the prosecutor, the defense attorney, the defendant, or anyone acting in their interest. I'm going to refer this matter to the district court probation department for a pre-sentence investigation. I'm going to set sentencing for May 16 at 8:15 in the morning. Mr. Wyrick, do you wish to appear in person or via Zoom?
If I could, Zoom would be better.
All right. So, Mr. Wyrick, not tomorrow, but next Thursday morning between the hours of 8 and 10 a.m., I need you to come to the courthouse. I need you to go to the first floor district court probation department and check in. Mr. McCarron is usually the person that will meet with you. He'll set up a time to interview you, or he may do it that day. He'll prepare a pre-sentence report. We'll provide it to your attorney. Your attorney will review that with you before the day of sentencing. And then we will see you back May 16 at 8:15. Anything else, Mr. Murphy, with Mr. Wyrick?
No, Your Honor. I was just wondering if I could do a breakout with him, and then I'll just log off.
That's all you have with me? Wait,
And so
that's all
I
you
need to
have
be there next Thursday, ma'am?
in person between 8 and 10?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
All right,
I don't
Mr. Murphy,
think-
that's all. So, Mr. Wyrick, he would like a breakout room with you.
Yes, ma'am.
And he's done in my court, so I don't mind.
Thank you, Your
so
Honor.
hold on. Yep, hold on just a moment. Murphy. All right, go ahead and join that breakout room. There's so many people in my waiting room. Okay, so, Mr. Fry, I'm gonna do this VOP real quick and then I'll take you. So back on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Jamie Heimerdinger, file number 21-20407FH. Miss Underwood, how would you like to proceed with Miss Heimerdinger today?
Your Honor, I would ask the court to enter a not guilty plea on Miss Heimerdinger's behalf. Miss Heimerdinger had a lot going on back then, Your Honor, and she thought so. We're kind of confused, but
okay.
She's been in jail in Jackson since January.
Okay.
An out date of May. I believe it's on the same conduct.
Well, I mean, if she had a case in Jackson and missed court there, that's something different.
No, that wasn't.
Yeah, so I would like to go back through the paperwork and see where this is emanating from. But she's also 20 some weeks pregnant and with an out date of, I believe, mid-May.
All right, I can set this over to April 30th at 8:30 in the morning. And we'll get her back from Jackson at that point. So we'll set it for a pretrial Ms. Heimerdinger for April 30th at 8:30 in the morning, all right?
Okay.
If she has an out date, Rhonda, that has nothing to do with us. Just FYI.
All right, Mrs. Walsh, thank you.
Well, I think, yeah, her out date means that we could do April 30th. So, all right, so Ms. Heimerdinger, we'll see you back on April 30th at 8:30 in the
Your
morning,
Honor,
all right?
does she have a bond? Is she getting credit?
Oh, yeah, she's getting credit. I issued a warrant and I set bond in the amount of, I don't know, let me check, hold on. Ms. Adams, I see the warrant, looks like bond is no bond, so she's getting credit. She's getting
So
credit.
is that from January, Your Honor?
Yes, from whenever I issued the warrant, so.
Thank you.
I don't, it would have been left, yeah. All right, Ms. Heimerdinger, we'll see you back on that day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so many people in my waiting room.
I'm sorry. I just have a quick question.
Yeah.
Where are my warrants lifted from Lenawee then?
Are you what?
Are my warrants lifted from Lenawee then?
No, we still have a warrant and I entered a plea of not guilty, so we'll come back on April 30th.
Okay, I recently put in a motion here for reduced sentence. My out date's May 11th. I haven't got any paperwork back on the motion yet. There's quite a bit of confusion between here and Lenawee County. I have been trying to get a hold of you guys, and so is my lawyer, and I haven't.
So, ma'am, you have an attorney now. We'll see you back on April 30th, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I have Mr. Bailey. I have, who's your last one?
Harding, Michelle Harding.
Yeah, Michelle Harding, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, are you just setting a pretrial? Sure. All right, I'm do a quick pretrial and they're setting a date, Ms. Underwood. So in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Michelle Lynn Harding, we have two files, 24-21779FH, 24-21780FH. Ms. Harding is represented by Brian Fry, and I have Dan, who's my prosecutor? You both have your videos on, I'm not.
Dan Gupta for the people, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Fry, how do you wish to proceed today on behalf of Ms. Harding?
Yes, Your Honor. So I was just reassigned to this case from Mr. Daly's office. So I have had a chance to talk to my client on the phone, but we haven't had a chance to meet in person to go through the evidence in the case yet. So we'd be asking for an adjournment to allow us that opportunity so we can decide how to move forward.
How long will you need?
Month, maybe, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so I will set a pretrial for May 7 at 8:30 in the morning. So that'll give you plenty of time to speak with your attorney, Ms. Harding. So May 7 at 8:30 in the morning. And Mr. Fry, you'll do the step in order to adjourn?
Yes, I can do that. Mr. Gumtow, can I sign your name with permission to that step in order?
Yes, yes, you may. Thank you.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Mr. Fry. Thank you, Ms. Harding. We'll see you back then, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Bailey, go ahead and unmute your device. So this is in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Darius Lamar Bailey, file number 20-20067 FH. And Ms. Underwood, do you represent Mr. Bailey?
I do, Your Honor.
All right. So, and this is a probation violation pretrial. So, Ms. Underwood, how would you like to proceed today with Mr. Bailey?
I believe Mr. Bailey, we put this out for payments, Your Honor, and I believe Mr. Bailey, I understand from Mr. Moore, made a significant payment, maybe $1,000. So I guess we would ask that it be set out again.
Okay, so we have the violation of probation. I'm looking, need arraigned, already on show cause, Tom Moore. So it looks like you're appointed. All right, so it looks like we arraigned him on the violation of probation for the new charges in Battle Creek. Is that correct, Ms. Underwood? You were present for that arraignment?
I'm sorry?
So you were present back on February 12 when we arraigned him on the new charges that are possibly pending in Battle Creek, right?
Your Honor.
And then he had, let me see here.
And I don't believe those have been resolved.
Right. And then we've been adjourning his VOP for failure to pay since July of 24. So I don't know, Ms. Walsh, if you can see, I don't know if you can see what his balance is at this time.
I don't have the balance, but I do have the email from Mr. Moore that said he spoke with Rhonda and he did pay $1,000 yesterday. Still owes over 11,000. So Mr. Moore is just kind of trying to figure out what's still going on with the new matters in Battle Creek at this time.
Okay. All right.
So
Mr. Bailey. Okay. So Mr. Bailey, I don't want to know about the case in Battle Creek, but when's your next court date?
It's on the 24th.
April 24?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Ms. Underwood, what I can do is set this out to May 14 at 8:30 in the morning.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So Mr. Bailey, write that down, May 14 at 8:30 in the morning, same Zoom number. We will mail out a notice of hearing. I don't want you to put your address on the record, but can I verify that the house number is 203?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. We will mail a notice of hearing out and we will see you back on that day. As I said, Ms. Underwood, you know, we're over 6 months of adjourning this out for him to make payments. So, all right, we'll see you back on that day. Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
Thank you.
All right, so I got a bunch of people on my, who's that? Why are they not?
Your Honor?
Yeah?
We have Mr. Paul scheduled this afternoon for an evidentiary hearing. Is that really, I mean, I know you have.
Well, if my jury is in deliberations, we'll do it, yes.
Oh, your jury is in deliberations?
No, we're starting day 2, and if we're gonna be in deliberations, we'll do the hearing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep. So
I just wanted to
we'll
make
know
sure.
more by right before lunch, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so Jerry, Releford, oh, it's a bench warrant. Well, then I got like all kinds of people. Mr. Releford, Michael Dagger Margosian, let me see, I'm looking, we'll call the jail. Hey, this is Judge Ann Sloan. I do have jail Zoom 1 open, but I'm ready for Tony Rowe. Tony Rowe, you got it. All right, thank you. Yep, bye-bye. So I got somebody who's logged on, broke phone 2.0. So can you unmute your device and tell me who you are? All right, Joey Releford. Mr. Releford, do you want to unmute your device? All right, I just admitted somebody. I'm going to send you a request to unmute. It says YU capital. Oh, yep. What is your name, please?
My name is Sojourner Lee. I'm the parent of Jerry Releford.
Okay. Is it Regina, Regina?
Sojourner. Last
Okay,
name is
thank you.
Lee, Lee.
Okay, thank you. All right. All right. All right. So ma'am, go ahead and mute your device and turn off your video. And then we will get to him in a minute. All right. I have from the jail, Mr. Rowe. So in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Tony Michael Rowe, file number 25-22191FH, 25-22192FH, and 25-22193FH. I have Isaac Sneed appearing on behalf of the people, Michael Dagger Margosian appearing on behalf of Mr. Rowe. This is the date and time set for arraignment on all 3 of these files. Mr. Dagger Margosian, do you waive the reading of the felony information?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you received a copy of the prosecutor's request for discovery and witness list?
Yes, I have.
Mr. Dagger Margosian, how do you wish to proceed today?
Your Honor, we waived these 3 cases to circuit court because Mr. Sneed and I, we've reached a resolution in all 3 of these matters. There will be a global resolution. I can outline it for the court right now.
Right, so if we could go in numerical order. So what is going to occur on 25-22191FH?
On 191, Mr. Rowe will be pleading guilty to counts 1 and 2, and count 3 would be dismissed. And there would also the habitual would be part of the plea. In other words, it wouldn't be dismissed.
So he will be pleading to a habitual 4th offense on each count?
On count 1, the B&E with intent.
But not count 3?
Well, count 3 would be dismissed. Count 2, the LIB, that will be subsumed. So Isaac or Mr. Sneed, are you fine with it just being count 1 for the habitual?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so count 1 with the habitual offender and count 2 without a habitual offender, and then count 3 would be dismissed.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so let's move on to, file number 25-22192FH.
Your Honor, on 192, Mr. Rowe would be pleading guilty to the LIB count one, no habitual.
Correct, Mr. Sneed?
That's accurate, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, and let's move on to 25-22193. Mr. Dagmar-Gozan, what are we doing on that file?
Your Honor, on 22193, that case will be dismissed outright.
Is that correct, Mr. Sneed?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Rowe, were there any other agreements, Mr. Dagmar-Gozan?
Your Honor, the only other thing is a sentencing agreement for Mr. Rowe, the sentence to be 24 months MDOC, minus any credit that he has on these cases.
Will I be, is that?
We don't expect that it would be a departure one way or the other, so it should fall within the guideline.
Because the count one, if he pleads with a habitual offender, that's a 10-year and it's a fourth offense notice. So it's life is the maximum penalty.
It's the sentencing agreement being, again, the 24 months, but yeah, I understand what the court is saying.
Okay, Mr. Sneed, is that correct?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. And for the record, Mr. Dagmar-Gozan and I did review guidelines together on the most serious case in formulating the Killebrew agreement.
Great. All right, so Mr. Rowe, now you want to raise your right hand?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, sorry.
Do you solemnly swear? No, you had it right the first time.
Okay.
Do you
Sorry.
solemnly, I think I'm backwards when you view me. So do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
So Mr. Rowe, you've heard the plea agreement that was placed on the record. Is it your intention to plead guilty on file number 25-22191FH to count one, which is breaking and entering a building with intent with the habitual offender notice? So the maximum penalty you can put your hand down. The maximum penalty could be up to life, but there's a sentencing Killebrew agreement between the prosecutor's office and your attorney that your sentence will be, the minimum will be 24 months with the Michigan Department of Corrections.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, is it your intention then to plead guilty to count two, which is larceny in a building, and that carries a maximum penalty of up to 4 years in prison? So is it your intention to plead guilty to that count?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and then on file number 25-22192FH, is it your intention to plead guilty to count one, larceny in a building, which carries a maximum penalty of up to 4 years in prison with no habitual offender notice?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, are you satisfied with Mr. Dagmar-Gozan as your attorney and the advice that he has given you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm gonna pause for a second because I think Washtenaw County is trying to come in and they keep bopping in and out. Eric Page, can I ask what you're here for? Okay. Let's see, we talked about that. All right, so Mr. Rowe, neither the prosecutor. Oh, hold on. All right, neither the prosecutor, the defendant, or anyone on the defendant's behalf has discussed any other possible sentence other than what was placed on the record. Is that correct, Mr. Sneed?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Dagmar-Gozan?
Correct, Your Honor.
And Mr. Rowe, as far as you're aware, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if a guilty plea is accepted, there will be no trial. This means that you'll be giving up rights you would have had at trial. I'm going to explain those rights to you now to make sure that you understand them. You have a right to a speedy public trial by jury. You may ask for a non-jury trial, and if the prosecutor and court agree, you can have a non-jury trial. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to have the prosecuting attorney prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, and you do not have to prove anything. You have the right to be present at trial and have witnesses against you appear at your trial and to ask those witnesses questions. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses you have for your defense to appear at the trial. Miss Adams, on my standing desk in my office on the right side is a document with some statutory changes, and Sierra McRae put a note on it. Could you bring me that? You have the right to remain silent during your trial, not to have your silence used against you. However, you also have the right to testify at your trial if you want to testify. Mr. Rowe, do you understand that if your plea is accepted, you may be giving up the right to appeal issues that would otherwise be appealable if you were convicted at trial? Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Thank you. Okay. If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a conviction of a crime may result in deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States of America, or denial of naturalization. Do you have any questions about the rights that I've given to you, Mr. Rowe?
No, ma'am.
All right, so Mr. Rowe, how do you wish to plead to the charge that on or about October 22nd of 2024 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee that you did commit the offense of, under count 1, breaking and entering a building with intent? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You plead, and we'll talk about the habitual offender notice when we get to the rest of the plea, and then how do you plead to the charge listed under count 2, larceny in a building on that same date, time, and jurisdiction? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And then on file number 25-22192FH, Mr. Rowe, how do you plead to the charge that on January 26th of 2025 in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee that you did commit the offense listed under count 1, larceny in a building? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And Mr. Sneed and Mr. Degemer, I just wanted to make you aware, and it's coming up, that effective May 1 of 2025, if a plea is accepted and there's a Killebrew or Cobb's agreement, if the defendant engages in misconduct before sentencing, the court will no longer be bound by any sentencing agreement or evaluation. Doesn't apply to Mr. Rowe, but that's something you guys might want to look into, and it's under Rule 6.302. So that might be something you want to look up before they would have a right to withdraw their plea. If I don't abide by it, after that, they will not. So, all right, has anyone made any threats or promises to you to induce you to plead guilty to these charges?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if I accept this plea, you will be giving up any and all claims that your plea is given as a result of promises or threats that were not disclosed to the court on the record during this hearing, or that it was not your own choice to enter the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the prosecutor or defense counsel aware of any promises or threats or inducements other than the plea bargain to induce the defendant to plead guilty? Mr. Sneed.
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Degemer.
No, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Rowe, an agreement for what will happen at sentencing was placed on the record, but outside of that, has your attorney promised you any other particular sentence or estimated like fines and costs or something like that? No?
No, Your Honor.
Is it your own choice to plead guilty to these offenses?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so Mr. Rowe, on, let's go to the 9-1 file. On October 22nd of 2024, were you in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and at that time, did you enter a garage located at 214 Renfrew Avenue with the intent to commit the crime of larceny?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and did you know who lived there?
Yeah.
Okay, and when you entered that building, did you take some power tools?
Yes, ma'am. Me and another.
And that was Harley or Daniel Sloan, I believe.
Yes,
Did
ma'am.
you entered that building with the intent to steal something of value?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and your intent was to defraud the owner of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you satisfied on those 2 counts? I'm going to get into the habitual offender notice next, but Mr. Sneed, are you satisfied with that? Count 1.
I am,
count
thank
2?
you, Your Honor.
All right, and then Mr. Rowe, you have been convicted of a couple felonies. So on December 20th of 2023, were you convicted for child support failure to pay?
Yes, ma'am.
And that was here in this court. And are you still on probation for that?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And then on August 3rd of 2022, you were convicted in this court as well in Lenawee County for possession of a controlled substance less than 25 grams. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then on March 31 of 2014, you were convicted of resisting and obstructing a police officer in the district court for this county. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. I think so. I think it was attempted or, yeah.
You might have pled, oh yeah, you pled it down to an attempted. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the habitual offender, Mr. Sneed, on that file?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, and that only applies to count one. Has the court complied with this file, MCR 6.302 B, C, and D?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Dagger Margosian?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let's move on to file number 25-22192FH. So Mr. Rowe, on January 26th of 2025, we're in the city of Adrian in the county of Lenawee.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so did you enter a store and steal an iPhone?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and what store was that?
I think it was AT&T.
Okay, and you had someone with you as well on
Yes,
that
ma'am.
one? And that was Harley Olmsted?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and when you took that phone, did you get the phone? Did you get away with the phone, or did they get it back from you?
I'm not sure. I left with the, yes.
Okay, and your intention was then to defraud AT&T
To get rid of it.
of the
Yes, ma'am.
value of that phone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Sneed, are you satisfied?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, has court complied with MCR 6.302 B, C, and D on this file, Mr. Sneed?
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Dagger Margosian?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I accept the plea. It has been given understandably, voluntarily, and accurately. The defendant has full knowledge of his rights. He does have competent counsel. I'm going to refer this matter to the probation department for a pre-sentence investigation. Are you on probation for anything in circuit court right now, Mr. Rowe?
No, ma'am.
No? All right, so I will set you for sentencing on May 16 at 8:15 in the morning. Mr. Rowe, someone from the Department of Corrections will come over and interview you. They'll prepare a pre-sentence report. Be truthful with them about your background, the events that occurred. We'll provide a copy of that to Mr. Dagger Margosian. He will review that with you before the day of sentencing. Mr. Rowe, do you wish to appear in person or via Zoom?
Zoom's fine.
All right, so we will set that via Zoom. And Mr. Rowe? Yeah, they waived the reading. Okay. Yeah, I believe Mr. Dagger Margosian already waived all that. Yep.
Correct, Your Honor.
Yeah, he did. All right, so Mr. Rowe, we will see you back on that day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice day.
You too.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. So I have somebody, I'm gonna send you a request to unmute your device, and I believe it's Mr. Releford's mom. So I'm gonna get rid of this jail Zoom. And I have somebody named Lee, so. That one, that one. That one. All right, so I have a screen that says Lee and they're not connected audio. So, all these storms, I think people are. I was a couple minutes late this morning. We had straight line winds at my house. I was like, I'm not going out there. God knows what my hair would look like. All right, so I think I have Mr. Releford, but he's not connecting to audio. So they say, okay, it's like, good. Isn't it? Yeah. All right, so, I have, I think, Mr. Releford, but he's not connecting. Oh. All right, Miss Holly, I think I have Jerry Releford. I have somebody connected named Lee, but they're not connecting to audio, so I'm not quite sure.
I think, isn't he in the Washtenaw County Jail?
Yeah, but they've been like connecting, but then not connecting. Like I had Jerry Releford earlier and I tried to let him in and I don't know where he went. And then I've got someone named Lee, which I thought might be him. Oh, now they're connecting to audio. All right, so let's see. I sent him a chat on how to connect. So let's see. Trying to connect. All right, I have somebody who's logged in. You just connected to audio. Can I ask your name, please? I'm gonna send them a chat message. Can you hear me?
Is this is Jerry's Releford mother?
No, and I think he's been trying to log on and then he's unable to connect. Like I have somebody named Lee, which I know is his middle name, so I don't know if that's him, but they're not connecting to audio. Is he at the Washtenaw County Jail still?
I'm not sure.
All right. Like I said, Jerry Releford tried to connect earlier when I admitted him. Oh, no, it's his sister, Shakayla's here. So I don't have, I'm gonna call the case and I'm gonna have to adjourn it. I have a jury trial starting. I know Washtenaw tried to connect earlier when I admitted them, then I don't know where they went. So I know we have a bunch of storms going on, so maybe they're having connection issues. So in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Jerry Lee Releford III, file number 21-20509FH. So Mr. Bayonetto is appearing on behalf of the people. Mr. Bayonetto, they've been trying to connect and I don't know what is going on. So I'm just gonna reschedule this and try to get them back.
Understood, Your
All
Honor.
right. So I'll set this over to, I'm gonna try not to do a Wednesday because. Can I help you? Oh,
He's coming to relieve me so I can.
Oh, I'm like, did we do something wrong?
No,
Are
he's
you
at
coming
the
to
moment.
arrest me? Please take me away. I'm gonna set this over to. I'm gonna set this over to. Friday, April 11 at 9:30. Friday, April 11 at 9:30. So ma'am, for both of you, April 11 at 9:30, and maybe that's a better time for Washtenaw County Jail, and we'll get the writ out. And then just same Zoom number as you used today, all right?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So Ms. Holly, I believe, and Ms. Walsh, that concludes our criminal docket, and I'm gonna take a recess before my jury trial.
Okay, I guess I have a hearing at 1:30. I'll be back. I'll probably be in there for.
You.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. We'll take a recess. We'll get the jury in and then, that'll just be a minute.